So, the topic today that I would like to explore, because it's something that's come up very recently, is taking space, or having space, giving someone space, etc., etc. If someone feels overwhelmed and they actually want to spend some time alone or away from another person, I think that's totally valid. However, the method is important, and the way you treat someone in the process is also really important. So in the most recent example that I can think of would be the situation of someone you see every day and who's like a close friend, best friend, whatever, close friend, let's just put it that way. And then something happens with them that they feel like they need to get away from the experience of being around you every day, or almost every day, or even being in contact every day. I think that the respectful way to handle that would be to, I hate to say it, but in spite of how you're feeling, put on the adult pants and say something. Hey, just need to check in with you quickly. I'm feeling really overwhelmed, and I need a few days where I just don't talk to anybody, and or where I want to be able to think freely and not see you or talk to you for a few days. That would be it's never easy to handle overall when someone does that, if they've never appeared to be someone who's required that or built like that before. It's always going to be difficult to handle, and maybe there's going to be a few minutes of a conversation that's maybe going to be uncomfortable, and you know what? So what? I think that if someone, or if relationships or friendships at the end of the day really even matter, then it's important to be willing to do that. And I don't know if this is a thing of someone who hasn't had kids, because maybe that's part of it, is because honestly, when you have kids, you can have a bad day and you'll have many of them, but guess what? You don't get to just check out, Those kids still need to eat. They still need to get up. They need their diaper change. They need to go to school. They need to be... So, myself as someone who has, for the most part, raised my children, separately, then it was like when I was on. And there wasn't this whole thing that I didn't have a partner coming home every day that I could, fall back upon and be like, oh, I'm having a bad day, faint on the couch, So, even when somebody died, I still had to get up and deal. And I guess, sure, there's tons of parents that don't, and they don't deal, and, there's parents who are freaking crack addicts and being in real estate, I've seen this, where you go into the apartment and on the floor is overflowing ashtrays, dog shit, used diapers, plates and glasses, and there's a mixture of garbage and dishes, and there's a baby in the house. Well, anyway, so yeah, of course, there's people who, in spite of what's going on, don't do their best to step up to the plate. Or maybe that's the best they can do. Anyway, so because my value set was strong enough that I felt like that no matter what was going on with me, like I still had a responsibility to show up and meet at least the minimum requirements, so I may not have, I know I didn't always meet them really well, and I'm not a poster mother, to be sure, I'm not, but like, what is it that gives you strength? I mean, at the end of the day, I think principles, morals, because no matter what happened, that principle or that moral was always there to guide me. And I always felt that honor is to show up and devote yourself passionately to the morals and the principles that define one. So yeah, so I always felt that, like if friendship matters, if being a good parent or being a parent matters, if your children matter, then there's certain things that you do and don't do. And there's always, life's never 100% perfect, of course. But, so I guess, to make a short story really long, this is why I'm having a hard time with the situation of being suddenly 180 degrees kind of just dropped. I'm having a hard time. I know you're having a hard time. So am I, actually. But I guess having kids toughened me up. Having kids and a good set of values. So it's like, in spite of the fact that I'm totally furious right now, I'm still meeting all the basic courtesies. Communicating, answering questions, if there are any, communicating any pertinent information. And I'm even going so far as to, communicate where, when I won't be around, so that person can feel at ease and know that there's certain times or places to go where I'm not going to be around. Like, I remember I did that months and months ago with someone I knew who really liked this certain venue, and it was pretty much the only one that he felt comfortable at. And I mean, we'd been seeing each other, I guess, for a few months, and then, the evening where, I was out at the same local establishment and found that he was on a date with someone else, I made it clear that I was going to be needing time, taking some space, and that I knew how important that place was to him, so that I was just simply not going to go there anymore. So, because I didn't want him to not go out for fear of running into me. I kind of wanted him to know, you're not going to run into me, because I'm not going there. I won't be going there anymore. So, what is wrong with me? I don't know. A certain decency, I value that more. I value that, period. Actually value it, and so that means more to me than the emotions of the moment, which can be, storms, big tidal waves, at the end of the day, emotions will pass. I mean, that's moment to moment, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month. Obviously, emotions change. They come, they go, very much like waves on the ocean. So So, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand people that just will just follow that and go nuts, fly off the handle, say mean things, whatever. It's like, if you value friendship, then value friendship, and you don't do shitty things then, you know. Or you recognize that you're in a really bad state and that maybe you're about to do shitty things, so you're going to disappear for a while. At least then, at least the courtesy of, at least that courtesy has been given. But to just randomly disappear one day, and, I mean, randomly disappear one day, and then I'm the one discarding the relationship? Really? Friendship? Whatever the fuck it is? Like, no. I don't think so. I don't think you get to have that perspective and stick to it, because that's just not how it is. So for people who do this ghosting thing, I mean, it's just disrespectful. Okay, it just is. It's disrespectful. It's showing a lack of courtesy, a lack of concern, and honestly, a lack of fucking values. So, and it's sad for me to see how many people don't have any fucking values. But then again, I'm always grateful. Thank you for letting me know now. You know, it's, you know, I mean, the sooner you can find out that someone's really not on the same page in terms of their values, then the better. You know, all the better. You don't waste any more of your life energy with them, right? Which is not to say that I don't have friends that have ever, you know, done a shitty thing, because, or that I've never done a shitty thing. Absolutely, for sure. But, and so, I've known people certainly that have gone through tough times and didn't handle it really well. And eventually, you know, they kind of come back and at least acknowledge that, and, you know, great. I'm totally willing to work with that. And I'm fortunate to have had people that, if I've had to go back and, you know, acknowledge with them my folly and my poor handling of a situation, you know, I've been forgiven too, because overall, the picture is a good one, and, you know, they know my heart's in the right place, and I know the same about them. So, you know, but have I had to step back from people for a while if they're in a spiral that, you know, they won't do anything, aren't willing to do anything, and they're hurling shit in my direction? Oh, well, yeah, I'm stepping back. I'm stepping back to a safe distance where that shit ain't hit my face. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you do. So, I guess that's all. At the end of the day, what are your values? And do they inform your actions? And what percentage of the time do they inform your actions and guide your actions and dictate your actions? Okay? Like, do I feel like communicating and being courteous? Not really, no, I don't, actually. I feel like just not talking at all. But at the end of the day, that doesn't lead to the most productive possible outcome in the situation. And I think at this stage, the best possible outcome in the situation is just to not add any more stress to it. That will be better for me, and I think that's going to be better for you know, my friend. So, my friend, kind of a newer friend, so I'm not really sure if we're friends yet. Like, I know I've offered friendship. I know who I am showing up, but I'm not sure yet on the other end, because it's not always coming back, and it's not always coming back within a realm of reasonable consistency that's like a safe realm. I mean, to go from like to just disappearing, you know? I mean, one of the worst, like, rejection is one of those things that's very difficult for humans to deal with. And I mean, from what I understand from the whole brain studies that they're into now, is that it lights up the same part of the brain as physical pain, because we know that we're so dependent on one another for survival that to be rejected registers as physical pain and as a threat to survival. And so to have that happen, and have it happen suddenly, and like just you're not responding to someone anymore, it's really shitty. It's really shitty, you know? In fact, it would be so much better to just say, you know, I'm overwhelmed, I gotta get out of here. Or, hey, it was nice meeting you, but I'm just not that into you. Let's say if it's like a early dating kind of a scenario. Like, because then you know, oh, okay, I'm not that, I'm not feeling things line up in the way that I need to feel in order to feel like we should continue. I'm not feeling it. I remember I said that to a guy once. And I was like, okay, he's a guy. And guys tend to be more straightforward, just, you know, the fewest words possible. Or most guys are like, want to get their point across in the fewest possible amount of words. And so I remember trying this experience with someone that I had known for about 3 years. And I felt really uncomfortable. It just didn't fit. And I said, you know, I'm not sure if this is something that's wrong with me. It's definitely not anything that you've done, but I'm just not feeling it. You know what he said? He was like, okay, all right, well, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, and straightforward, just tell it. Tell the story how it is. Just say it. Like, don't, and especially I think don't, like, think you have to have this huge sit down and go over it and analyze it to death. I mean, it's like, I'm not feeling it. Or, you know, I'm not ready, or whatever it is. That's just my perspective. So, what does friendship actually mean? You know, what does it mean? What are your values? And how often are your values guiding your actions? Like, completely. Just a question. Curious, that's all.